Welcome to Enlightenment Unknown Life of a Spiritual Nomad. Join Reiki Master and Quantum Healing expert Wes Coons as he guides listeners through the depths of self-discovery and spiritual enlightenment to uncover the version of you we haven't met yet.
Welcome to Enlightenment Unknown Life of a Spiritual Nomad. My name is Wes Coons, and welcome back to the show. It is the end of July, and it has been brutally hot in Virginia Beach, so I don't know where it is where you guys are, but I wanted to say welcome, Ethiopia. Thanks for joining the show. And we are live on location in the Reiki Wellness Center in Virginia Beach. I've got some special guests here. Who is here today, Jessica?
Jessica. Hi.
Hey, Jason.
Hi, Wes.
Now, you guys are husband and wife.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we are.
At least for today. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see how it goes afterwards.
Well, I want to say thanks for coming on the show. And the reason I asked you to be on the show is I've watched you guys incorporate Reiki into your life, into your family. And Jason, you're retired Navy, right?
Yes, 30 years.
Yeah. And if you hear that, which may be edited out, that's the United States Navy flying over. The best thing about the Navy, Jessica, is when the Marine Corps was created, we need limo drivers. So they said, we'll call that the United States Navy. They take us around the world to fight everybody. Thank you for your service and driving us. We appreciate it.
Best do wherever.
So now, Jason, how long have you been connected with Reiki? Tell me about that.
Been connected with Reiki probably as a practitioner since 2019. I first learned about the center from Jessica because she brought us here on date night after one of my deployments. That date night was meditation boot camp.
Yes.
So
how did that work for you? I mean, come on, you're a warrior. You're in the Navy. I know for me, if I hadn't gone through that haunted house, there's no way I'd be here.
I had picked up meditation during that deployment. One of the people I worked with, she was the one that got me into the meditation, and then Jessica just happened to be coming here as a client. And then she just sprung it on me that, hey, we're going to go do meditation boot camp. This is going to be our date night. And I'm sitting there going, could it be a restaurant? Maybe movies? No, meditation boot camp.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. So Jessica, how did you find this place?
I was recently at that time diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and they kept wanting to give me medication. And something in me said, there's got to be something more than medication. Like, there's something more.
Sure.
So I just kept looking, and then I found the Reiki Wellness and Meditation Center on Facebook. Kind of stalked it for a little bit, watched what they were doing, and researched Reiki and how it could help me. I brought my aunt with me because I was a little nervous. So I brought her, and that was back in early 2017.
So I didn't know that about you. I mean, do you still suffer from that, or have you healed that?
I've healed that.
Yeah. That's what I figured.
Yeah. And a lot of other things. And it really started with meditation boot camp. It started with me listening to myself. I'm a great caretaker.
Yes, you take care of everybody. I've been watching you start to take care of yourself this last year. It's been a beautiful thing.
It's been fun. It's been a journey. And I realized in that process of taking care of my grandmother, my husband, my son, I neglected myself, and I really wasn't listening. So when things would come up, I really was great at stuffing it down in my body, and it was showing up in my body. And by the time we moved here in 2014, my body was screaming. It was screaming. It hurt to get out of bed. It really changed. I went from being really active to bedbound. And that is really tough.
Well, if I remember right, you said you wanted to go anywhere but Virginia Beach, right?
Yeah. I came here kicking and screaming.
It's funny how God will put you where you need to be, right?
Yeah.
The funny thing is, when we got a chance to move, she fought that because I had a chance to get her back to San Diego, which is where she wanted to go. And she's like, no, we're staying here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you stay here.
I am too.
But, I don't let a lot of people work on me, and it's not against anybody else. It's just a select few. And, Jessica, she works on me all the time, and you're very, very gifted. So,
thank you.
Jason, I don't know, is questionable. We'll have to see, but yeah.
I just let spirit do the heavy lifting.
So let me ask you this question. I've had people tell me Reiki's the devil's work. I've had people tell me that it's not real. It's all these different things. So what is Reiki to you? Because you guys live Reiki, right?
Yes.
That we do. Our entire household is certified in Reiki at one form or another. The two of us Reiki masters, our son's a Reiki 2, and his fiance is a Reiki 1.
Nice.
I had never heard of Reiki until she brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then after she brought it up, I couldn't stop seeing it in all the TV shows.
Spirit's little whisper.
Uh-huh. Yeah, spirit will whisper.
And after my first Reiki 1 class, I was like, I don't feel anything. I don't know what this is all about. And that took a year off. But after I started doing it daily is when I started to see the changes. And being Navy kind of hid that for a while.
Sure.
But it actually changed the energy of the work environment. The ship was less stressful.
Mm-hmm.
I was less stressful. And then coming home, Jessica was up and moving around. And I had watched her over those years go from not wanting to do anything because it hurt to she was up and doing things that she was doing before. And the medications were gone.
So when you say you do Reiki, what is that? So for the people that don't understand what we're talking about, what is that?
Reiki is your clear and present channel for life force energy.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever your belief is, because Reiki is non-denominational. And I think that's what makes it so perfect. It's non-denominational. If you believe in God, Buddha, it doesn't matter. It's just being a clear and present channel and holding someone in the highest vibration of love.
Mm-hmm.
You have no expectations of the outcome of when a client's on your table. You're just holding them in love. And then Reiki magically does what it's supposed to, when it's supposed to, and not on my timeline ever.
It hasn't been on my timeline, that's for sure. So, yeah, when I do Reiki, I focus and I channel the Holy Sacred Spirit through my crown chakra into my body with my hands over my heart. That's what I do, which I don't do it a lot, which I should. I don't listen to the things I'm told to do, right? The chakra.
Typical Marine.
Wes Coons, I'll just fucking walk in there and we're going to get it done. And I wonder why I'm walking around with my arm half cut off or something happened. So, I mean, is that what you do before you get on the ship? I mean, do you sit down and get, quiet with yourself and pray, put your hand on your heart? I mean, what do you do, Jason?
I took it, the self-healing part of it, I took that as a chance to actually just center and ground myself and actually take that time to look at where I was at going into the work.
Mm-hmm.
And then just taking time to do what I was great at doing for my family, which was take care of myself instead of always focusing on taking care of somebody else. Yeah. Go to Holy Spirit, Infinite Spirit, whatever you want to call it, and let them do the work. And I'm just here channeling it. I'm not wasting my energy on this healing. I'm allowing something more powerful than me to do it.
Sure. Yeah, I think for me, the hard part was going into that belief that there's something. I always felt there was something out there. I don't know. It just felt like it was arrogant for me to say we're the only things here. That's a human thing, or maybe some people would say an American thing. They say Americans are arrogant. Maybe we are, but that just seemed arrogant to me. So I always felt like, yeah, maybe there's something. But going through this process, at least for me, has connected me with Jesus, connected me with God and archangels and angels and stuff like that. It took me a minute because in the beginning, I'm like, man, this is such fucking bullshit, man. This is not going to work. And as I'm saying this, my ears are ringing so loud because I'm hearing the angels and all this. This place saved my life.
Yeah.
Saved mine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys already had the perfect marriage, perfect health, perfect life. You never fought over money. You never needed money. Your children were perfect. They're going to Harvard for free because they found a check on the floor. I mean, that's all real, right? Or were you like everybody else? Where we struggle?
Well, we struggle just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Trinae says a really great saying of where people living in a peoply world, in a peoply bodysuit, running around, and peoply things happen. Like it just happens. The best thing about Reiki is think of it as like a buffer. It's that buffer. So when those hard blows come, you get to soften them.
Yeah.
and then get really present with what's happening and make clear decisions from there.
So what I hear you saying is you're just like everybody else, but you're doing the work.
Every day.
You're giving up the control, because we don't really have control, but we think we have
Yeah.
control. Because I remember when I first started coming around this stuff, people would say, oh, just the universe will provide. And I'm like, yeah, my ass. I'm like, dude, you got to go to work. You got to push through. We're going to take that door. And the reality is I'm infinitely more powerful when I just give it to the divine and just tell God, I'm like, hey, if this is where you need me to be, you need to open that door, because I'm not seeing it, because Wes is trying to put a square peg in a round hole every day.
Yeah.
Maybe not as much as I used to, but that was a block for me. And then I would come in here and Jessica's like, would say something holy and spiritual. And I'm like, fuck you, Jess. But I wanted to say, but she was right. And she made me feel better.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And then Trinae would say something, and Jason would say something, or other people here. And I love this place. When people walk into this building, this is the Reiki Wellness Center at the oceanfront in Virginia Beach on 31st Street. And I remember in class one day, everybody always called it the little green house. Well, I'm colorblind. So I don't know if you knew that, but I'm colorblind. And I'm in class, I'm like, why do you call it the green house? And Trinae's like, because the house is fucking green with it. I'm like, what color the building was. I always thought it was a weird color, but when people, my clients come in here, the first thing they say is the energy in this place is fantastic. It's good.
Well, it's because we Reiki it every day. We Reiki everything. I wanted to talk to your thing on control. Reiki teaches you to have blind faith.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, that the universe is going to provide no matter what. I was a great helicopter mom, and I controlled everything. I had to. My husband was deployed. Realizing when I finally stepped back and released that control and actually let Reiki do the work, the relationship with our son really changed. And it's even changed even more so now. And there was a situation in his life where I felt like I had to control it. I had to fix it, and I couldn't. It wasn't mine to fix.
Yeah, it's not.
So Reiki allowed me that buffer to step back and just let Infinite Spirit do the heavy lifting, because I knew I couldn't do the heavy lifting. So I just gave it over and used my Reiki.
So I'm a Marine, and thinking outside of the box in holy spiritual ways is not normal. What does that mean to give it to Spirit, to give it to God? What does that mean? I mean, what does that look like for you guys?
Sometimes it's just blind faith. I learned the hard way that if you try to force it, you get further away from you. And that was a very difficult lesson to learn, and I think that's why for the first year I was like, this thing doesn't work, because I had a set expectation of what that was going to look like. I heard healing, and I confused that with medical treatment.
Sure,
the healing might not be the way you want it to be, but it's going to be exactly what you need it to be, as long as you're willing to trust that there is something out there looking out for your best interest. And once I accepted that, it became a lot more effective.
I would like to say you're wrong, but you're so freaking right, man. This last year, I've really worked on letting go of things, letting go of me, letting go of the anger I had towards my dad, letting go of the anger I had towards my brother, towards myself. And lo and behold, my niece Stephanie reaches out, and we haven't talked in a long time. And she just wanted to let me know that there's people in the family that are still here, and I'm ignoring them. I'm not participating. So we still haven't got together. Went to see them on 4th of July, and Abby's over in the corner sleeping. She'd been sick, and long story short, I didn't get to stay long because I had to come back and get her. But in my mind, I visualized what things are supposed to look like in front of me, and the reality off to the side is where it was. And so I'm allowing myself now to let go of the expectation of what I think the prayer is I'm asking for. Right. So I was in this relationship that ended last year. It was hard for me. And the prayer that I had for that relationship is I wanted to be in love. All right. I would like to get married. I would like to have these things. And I asked God, I said, I wrote down everything on this piece of paper that I wanted. And this person showed up and she had the same piece of paper. We wrote it 2 days apart and they're 99% accurate. And I'm like, wow, look at this magical thing. And the reality is she wasn't the love of my life. God sent her to help me with my lessons for me to fall in love with myself. So I wanted to be in love. And he said, okay, motherfucker, we're going to help you learn how to love yourself. I'm like, okay. I might have to edit out the motherfucker, but we'll think about that. Yeah. But God answered my prayer. My prayer was, I want to be in love. And he said, okay, I'm going to teach you how to love yourself. So our prayers aren't always exactly what we think we want what we want them to be. So one of the things I try to say every time I do a prayer is if you could show it to me with ease and grace. Because for me, when my prayers get answered, it's that crane breaking through the side of the wall, going through a haunted house or whatever that may be. So, Jason, I watched you let go and do things in the Navy that you thought you weren't able to do. I mean, there was positions, if I remember right, that you qualified and you got promoted into. There was like one person in the entire Navy type deal is going to get this job, right?
The job kind of fell into my lap as what I used to say, but I got put where I was needed and spirit directed that. My final job, I was not qualified for.
I can appreciate.
And I was actually supposed to go to a completely different job and actually do the training of people getting new construction ships. And then they turned around and said, no, you're going to go do this job over here. And I was like, well, I've heard of it before, but I don't know what they're doing. And I walk in and I look at everything that I'm now responsible for. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm stepping into.
Nice.
But it worked. And I continue to support that same place. Just now I'm doing it from the contract side.
So now you had said early on that you kept that from the Navy. Now, did you keep that, Jess? Did you keep Reiki from your friends and stuff too? Or did you start telling people about it? Or
Slowly I started telling people about it. I remember telling my grandmother about it, and she started telling her friends because she was like, wow, I can hear a difference in you, you know. But it was a while before I told her I was doing this. And one of her friends actually stopped talking to her because I was doing Reiki. And whatever that entailed and what she imagined it to be. And my grandmother's like, are you sure this is the right thing for you? And I'm like, well, Grams, you hear it in my voice. You hear the difference, like completely different. And how I talk and work around stuff. I said, it's really not that bad. And the best part is not a religion. She was like, well, it can't be that bad. And even one of my aunts up in New Hampshire, I hadn't talked to her in a while, and she was like, Jessica, there's just something different. There is just something different in the voice and the way you're doing things now.
Yeah.
So
I went through that stage too. And I kind of went through a stage where people were really nasty to me. And then that started to fade away. And the reality is nothing changed except for me. And then one day, I don't know, it was over like a 3-week period, and these people were messaging me on Facebook saying I've changed so much. And I remember thinking, there's some of these people I'd never even met before. But they said that they felt my energy through Facebook and the things that I was saying. I'm like, I didn't understand that because in my mind, I didn't see the changes yet, but other people did. So did other people notice your change before you noticed yours?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And my aunt that actually lives here locally, she could see it in the way I dealt. She would get so upset with what was going on with my son, and I would just be really level and even. And this is matter of fact and no control. And she would get angrier for me than I was getting angrier about it. And one day she looked at me and she goes, this stuff is really working. Like what you're doing. And even to go even further, I've had a psychiatrist actually tell me that I do live a Reiki blessed life. Like she's like, and then she asked for business cards because she's like, what you're doing, like looking back, I started seeing her when I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and 3 years later, she looked at my chart again and everything she had written down. She was like, you're night and day. So yes, you do live a Reiki blessed life because whatever you're doing, you've done a complete 360. That was a doctor.
Nice. Yeah, I remember I worked on a lady, this is a number of years ago. They moved to Florida and her husband was a psychiatrist. So I don't know what happened with her, but he noticed so much changes after just one session. He sent every book of business to me that next 6 months. I mean, there was a lot of people. There was a lot of people showing up. And when you're sitting there and, that he's a scientist, right? He didn't come. He wasn't going to participate, but he was a scientist. I never even met the guy. I think we texted once and he just said, I'm Dr. So-and-so. This is who I am. Thank you for helping my wife. I'm going to send you some clients. I'm like, okay. And next thing I knew, my business was packed for a long time. And then he moved to Florida. So people ask me, they're like, what is Reiki? How do you prove it? What do you do? How do you do this? What do I tell people? And I tell them, maybe you don't tell them anything.
I think it's through action.
Yeah.
I think people just see it. Like, it's not anything you can really describe. You notice the blessings and you move on, and people just notice there's a difference. Like,
life is just easier.
So much easier.
Right? Life is easier. I find myself smiling, things happen. And there's a church up the street I like to go to from time to time, and the priest calls Reiki devil's work. And yet one of the things we can do is go into the other room and they do hands-on healing. And there ain't no difference than what they're doing versus what we're doing, except for they're getting paid and we're not. So
it's all in the name.
Yeah, it's in the name. It's and not to pick on organized religion, but there's a lot of guilt and shame that comes with that. And one of the things I liked about Reiki, the first session I sat in here into class with Trinae, or the first time I met her, I think the first time I met her was Reiki 1. Well, I take that back. I showed up. Oh, do you remember when I called? Were you here when I called for the first appointment?
Yep,
Yeah.
I was here.
Yeah, so I called. I wanted to see Trinae. I didn't know why.
Yeah.
And I was living at 67th, just moved out of the haunted house. And I think you said it'll be a couple weeks. I'm like, okay, well, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yep.
Remember that? And you're like, no, there's no appointment. There's no appointment. I said, no problem. I'll take that appointment, but I'll see you tomorrow. She's like, Wes, there's no appointments available. I was, okay, no problem. Like 15 minutes later, she's like, hey, there's an appointment available tomorrow. I was like, yeah, I know. And I don't know how I knew that stuff. I just did. And I was so new at everything. Then I signed up for Reiki 1, and Trinae dropped the F-bomb in the first 3 minutes. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm at home. I can learn how to love myself and I don't have to stop cussing. So that works for me. But so I guess if you really had to say it, I mean, Reiki's not a religious program.
No, it's not. And that was what really drew me to it. I grew up as Catholic could be. The church that Arnold Schwarzenegger and Maria Shriver got married in, that's the church I went to as a kid.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So for me, it was stepping out of that. I always had guilt and shame with church because I didn't go every day. I didn't follow. My grandmother would joke and say, the church is going to fall down when you walk through those doors. And I'm like, hold on, Hannah. Please don't. And this was one place that I could believe in something greater than me, whatever that may be.
Yeah. Well, I know for me, Reiki is connecting to God. Then I've got friends that say creator, spirit, universe, or whatever. And the nice thing I like about it, and nobody looks at anybody differently, no matter what you say.
No.
And I have found great peace learning how to do this work and showing up here. It's been cool.
I love the fact that coming here, it's non-judgmental. You get to walk through the doors and everybody just loves you the way you are.
Yeah.
Exactly where you are in that moment. You could be ugly crying, you could be laughing, you could be anything. And it's just that place of warm welcome.
Yeah, I've definitely put my foot in my mouth more than once in this place. So maybe 16 to 20,000 times it feels like. But it's a place of healing.
It is. I remember the first time I walked through the door. Was I scared? Yes, because I had no idea what I was really getting myself into. But my body, I noticed when I sat in the waiting room, it kind of did this sigh. Like, not just but like there was a weight lifted in this sigh.
Mhm.
And I just knew I had to be here. And it took me a little bit to get around to being here all the time. But man, once I plugged in, there was no stopping me. I ate my dinner in the parking lot and I was the first one through the doors.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's laughing at me.
Yeah. Have you met Sydney, my daughter?
I've not met her. I've talked to her on the
talked to her.
phone.
Yeah. Well, she's getting married in March.
Mhm.
No, May. Sorry, Sid, May. She don't listen to the show anyway, so it's fine. Look, she's starting to pay attention. And I remember one day she said, Daddy, I don't know what you're doing, but you're different. And I like it. And I want to, and I tell people all the time, families that heal together, stay together.
Mhm. I think the greatest gift we can give our children is healing.
Yeah.
Like I get to show my son, and I say I get to because it's a choice and I'm so excited to do it. I get to show my son that I get to be a different mom for him, even now as an adult, and he's having his own family. I get to show up for my son so differently than the girl I was 8 years ago.
Yeah. That's cool, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And we're healing generations now.
Mm-hmm. The fun thing is this little podcast, this little show that we do, we're probably over 7,000 downloads.
Wow.
7,000 times the show's been listened to. Isn't that crazy?
That is amazing.
We're reaching 3/4 of the planet as hearing, in my opinion, God's word, our word about Reiki, about self-healing. A lot of people listen to the podcast on the haunted house part, but there's a ton of people stayed. And I know for me, the honest answer is the last few weeks this summer, I've not had an episode every Saturday. I got kind of caught up in my head. Plus it's been 5,000 degrees and life was happening for me. And part of life happening was I got caught up in my head on what do I talk about this week? And so I've been, instead of going to outside sources or down the old rabbit hole that I had been going, I'm staying present with myself. I'm like, you know what? The words are just going to come. The people are going to show up. The guests will show up. And then the people that need to hear the message are going to show up. And so when we had this episode today, somebody asked me, said, well, do you have notes? Are you going to do this? I said, no, we don't do notes here.
I think that was me asking. Planned a little.
I think it was my sister too. And she's like, what do you mean? I said, just whatever comes out. It's right. And I think it's been really cool.
Mm-hmm. It
So-
really has been. I
Yeah.
enjoyed myself.
So you guys people can hire you here at the Wellness Center to do healings, right?
Yes,
Correct.
they can go to the website
Mhm.
and actually book an appointment online with one of us.
So what's the website?
The website is www.rwmcva.com.
rwmcva.com.
Mm-hmm.
And what all do you do here? You do healing sessions, right?
Yep.
You do Reiki.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
We do Reiki. We also offer Reiki certification training. And then we take it even deeper. We are really immersive here. And one of our newest classes that we're doing is hands-in chakra. And that is for our healers and the healing community, those who are certified energy healers, where you can come in and actually get hands-on and really listen to what's going on as you're going through the different energy fields, as you're going through each chakra. It's amazing to watch the students as they're exploring their intuitiveness and what they're getting and receiving from the person on the table.
So is that different from Reiki share?
Yes, very
Okay.
different. Reiki share, you get to come in for a healing, give a healing, raise the vibration. You practice with other Reiki practitioners. This one, we have tables lined up in our classroom. There is active communication back and forth with the instructor.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know you had that one.
Yeah.
Maybe I should read my emails, Jason. What do you think?
It helps really hard on the.
Yeah. And they repeat every Monday.
Yeah. So I see it come in and like delete. And I was like, I never know what's going on there. Maybe I should pay attention.
So it's been a really fun class. Even myself, I have learned new things about what messages I'm getting or what I'm feeling during a healing. And it gives me an opportunity to not only figure it out with the instructor, but to listen to what other people are experiencing and learning. And something really trippy when your eyes are when your eyes are closed and you're standing across from someone and going through the different layers of the chakras,
Mm-hmm.
to watch both healers who eyes closed can't see one another and their hands are hitting the same spot in the
that's
same
cool.
area. It is really,
Yeah, I'm going to have to check that class out.
yeah. We have one coming up.
Now, what if you're not around here? How do you, is there things, now Trinae does,
Virtual sessions, which
Yep.
is awesome. Even us Reiki masters here, we can do virtual Reiki sessions. So if you're not in Virginia Beach, that doesn't stop us.
Yeah.
Reiki goes where it's meant to go.
and then Trinae does talk therapy, right?
She does life coaching, relationship coaching, hypnotherapy, business coaching, anxiety and depression treatment, grief and trauma. So, I mean, there is a ton of help in this building.
I remember the first time I walked through the door, I said life coaching. I'm like, I ain't doing that fucking shit. And I ended up doing that sometimes. Well, I think I did it every week for the first 2 or 3 years, sometimes twice a week. And finally she's like, I remember how panicked I was when she wanted to drop me from 4 times a month to 2 times. That was a big step for me.
How?
And she helped me heal so many things and move through things so quickly when nobody else could, because nobody else said, hey, life happens for you and not to you. You are a direct reflection of everything in your life. You know, energy matches energy. You know, I remember when I asked her, I said, how do I get rid of the women that throw me in the trash easily? And she said, oh, bless your heart. You're not from the South. That means you're a dumbass. That's what that means.
No.
And so she basically called me a dumbass and said, where do you throw yourself in the trash easily? Because those ladies were coming in because I was carrying the energy of being thrown in the trash easily. So I brought them in. They didn't do anything to me. I allowed them into my life because of my energy, and I allowed them to stay, or I stayed because I felt like that's where I needed to be. It was comfortable, even though it was painful. So, or I could sit there and say they did whatever. That's victim energy. I don't like to be in victim energy anymore.
No.
I had lessons to learn, and they loved me so much in heaven that they agreed to do that for me here. And I appreciate that.
That's huge.
Mhm.
Even that statement was huge. Like, I could feel it when you said it, like, to hear that, you know, sometimes it's hard to look in the mirror and see what's going on, but when you have someone who does it gently and lovingly.
Anything's been gentle for me. Maybe a little bit these days.
But to have that support system and that cheerleader that's going to stand in your corner. And sometimes you may not, I mean, I see Trinae myself, and sometimes I may not like what's being said, but it's exactly what I need in that moment.
Yeah.
And it's just to take me to that next layer, that next layer. So thank you. Bring me more.
Well, my favorite's when she's like, well, let me just tell you how it is. I'm like, oh, like you've ever sugarcoated it before in your life, right? And it's like, hey, you know, you got a choice. Do you want to hear the truth, or do you want somebody to BS you? Because you can go down to the therapist down the street who says, oh, Jason, how do you feel today? I'm like, I feel like shit. I'm here, right? Instead of, let's talk about how it's a direct reflection. Let's get into something that's manageable, that's real, that is how there is a process to change your life.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jason, now you make and sell these amazing candles, right?
Yes, I do.
So tell us about that.
So started out as a hobby, and then I decided that what I was going to do is go ahead and infuse these candles with Reiki. And then
Nice.
I make sure that all my ingredients are as clean as they can be, while still providing a wonderful scent for you. And we sell them here at the greenhouse, and then I sell them on site at the events that I've gone to.
So do you have a website where people can order that?
I do not have a website. I do have a Facebook, but it's not very active right now.
But they could look up the Reiki Wellness Center, reach out to me on the show, and I can connect them if they wanted
Yes.
something, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So for people that don't understand, how do you infuse Reiki? Because I know the phone system here is infused. On my website is infused with Reiki. How do you do that? What does that mean?
What I'm doing there is I'm setting the intention that my customer, when they burn this candle, is going to receive love that supports their highest good.
Nice.
And I use the tools that I learned as a Reiki master to put that into the candle, and it allows it to, regardless of when it gets burned, whether it's today or next year, that energy is going to be there for them.
So do you put symbols in your wax and stuff when you work like
Yeah,
that?
I'll put the symbols in there as I'm setting the wicks,
Nice.
and then pour the wax in.
Yeah. I mean, I got to be honest. I don't know how this isn't like discussed on the 6 o'clock news every night, because it changes things at such a high level. And, yeah, a friend of mine has prostate cancer, and they're in California, and his wife put a picture of Mike on Facebook waiting in the waiting room. And I messaged her. I said, tell Mike not to claim his disease. He doesn't have, I'm not saying stick your head in the sand and ignore everything. What I'm saying is don't go around telling everybody you have cancer, have healing to do. And I gave her some tips, and it was funny she didn't respond back, or at least yet. I don't know if she will, but I told her, I said, I took my PSA from nearly 6% to 1/4%. And I had no procedures by the doctor. I went into self-healing. I went to see Lakota, had some work done. I seen Margaret, had some work done. I went to the mountain and did some work on myself, but I didn't claim my disease. And they talk about all the time, we can heal our bodies. I mean, Big Pharma does not want us to talk about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can heal our bodies. I've met people over and over and over that had a major something going on, and all of a sudden they didn't.
It's huge. I think, yes, always with guidance from a doctor.
Yes.
And I think when you're being mindful and present with it, and like you said, don't claim it, because I mean, probably in this last year in my healing, I have claimed some things and they've showed up.
Yeah, I remember that. I said, don't claim this shit, girl, and there it was.
And it showed up.
Yeah.
It gave me exactly what I asked for. So I think hand in hand with a doctor as guidance, and the alternative of not claiming and using the Reiki to raise that illness or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Is important.
Yeah, raising the vibration of yourself is supportive to the care that you're going to get from your doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't want side effects, we use it for that. Or
Absolutely. Well, I had a client 3-4 years ago, and she was going in, and they gave her an IV once or twice a week that had the drugs and stuff she needed. And she would come to me and she would have these energetic parasites. And I'm like, man, I just worked on her and I couldn't figure out what the deal was. And for her, I asked the angels, I said, what is going on? And they showed me a vision of her getting the drugs and these dark energies going into the IV bag, and it just flowed right into her body.
Mhm.
So what we did, I said, take your IV bag, do prayers on it real quick. The nurse will let you do that. They don't care. And then take selenite, and she wrapped a piece of selenite around the cord before it went into her arm. She just set it right there. never had it again. The selenite cleansed the medication as it went in. And she also adopted the mantra that my body only absorbs the medicine, nutrients, and things that it needs, and everything else releases with ease and grace. And her numbers started getting better and better and better. And I've got a client now that I think this will be her third or fourth session, early 50s, and they were going to put her in hospice. And that's off the table now. The doctor said her numbers are fantastic.
Oh my God, that's so amazing to see that work.
Yeah. So it's the possibilities are infinite.
Exactly.
It's beautiful. So one of the things I'm putting together now is in the next, I'm going to make a commitment. What's today's date?
The 30th.
So by September 1st, I will have this program up and running and available where people can plug in no matter where they're at in the world. And twice a month, we're going to do a virtual healing session to help raising their vibration. So it's a 12-month program. So whatever they're going through, whether it's medical, mental, whatever, they can plug into a support system that has correct affirmations, meditation, and healings twice a month. And it will reinforce their healing, continue to raise their vibration, because what is it, like every 90 days your cells reproduce or something like that? I don't know the exact math. Yeah. But your cells have already adopted to your vibration as it is today. So as we raise it, and your body regrows itself, it's going to regrow at the higher vibration over and over and over. It's going to be fun.
I'm excited to see this happen. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. I'm super excited about that. So it's really the first time I've talked about it. And so I'll make a commitment by September 1st that will be up and running for all of our clients all over the world.
That's exciting. Oh my God, you guys are in for a treat.
It'll be fun. So is there any last things that you wanted to talk about or mention on the show?
I'm trying to, I think learning to just be and let someone else do the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, you guys are on Facebook and Instagram and stuff, right? So
Yes.
Was that the Reiki Wellness Center?
The Reiki Wellness and Meditation Center, yes.
Okay. And you can reach out to me. So I highly encourage you to connect with the Reiki Wellness Center. I'm VB Healer. You can find me at VB Healer on Facebook, Instagram, and of course on the podcast, you can find me there too. But this place saved my life. And I talk about the Reiki Wellness Center all the time. Trinae is going to be on the show soon, finally,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
We have a date pinned down for her.
Yeah. What's she going to talk about? Do you remember? Something to Lionsgate, right?
She's gonna promote that she's gonna be on the show on our Lionsgate.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
So she's gonna let all our clients know, so they're ready to hear it.
Okay, cool. So she's going to be on the show, and I'm really looking forward to that. But guys, thank you for coming on. I enjoyed it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. It was a treat.
And Jason, thank you for supporting the United States Marine Corps for 30 years. Just so you know, the Marine Corps birthday's 250th birthday is coming up soon. So we're going to be at Chesty Puller's house. If you don't know who Chesty Puller is, he's the most decorated Marine in Marine Corps history. And so I don't know where that rates as far as other services, but Chesty was a badass, and his house is an hour and a half away. So we're going there if you want to roll out that day and go hang out with a bunch of jarheads, and we're going to have barbecue and do some stuff. We're going to honor Chesty, and that's going to be fun. So I think we're going to go out with my buddy Nate and do a podcast before the Marine Corps birthday. And then we're going to do an episode there and interview some of the warriors and stuff like that. So you're welcome to come.
Thank you.
Yeah. So guys, we will see you in a few days. Have a great week.
You've been listening to Enlightenment Unknown with Wes Coons, your guide on the quest for self-discovery and the version of you we haven't met yet.